this is Father Louis SCURTI. I'm here once again with Lisa Calabrese. She's the parish manager here at St. John NEPOMUCENE and Mother Cabrini Church in Roosevelt Island. And the first interview gave us a little overview, but let's zero in on some of the specifics that Lisa here participates in and really runs. Okay,
Yeah.
and we're talking about the religious ed program.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell the audience, because our largest community here is Slovak. Tell the audience what they told you about the difference between Slovak religious ed and American religious ed.
Okay. So I am the director of religious education, and which means I oversee the Slovak. But of course they have their classes in Slovak, so I can't teach. But everything usually goes through me. So when having a conversation, I was a little confused about when they start their classes. I start in September. They start in January. So I asked Father Martin, the Slovak priest, tell me about what goes on. And he said, well, we have religious education starts in January and goes until May for communion. So they have a communion class just for communion and a confirmation class just for confirmation, and there's nothing in between there.
Really?
Yeah, there's nothing in between there. So it's just...
And yet it's a very Catholic country.
Oh, yes, yes.
And they're very
Catholic
faithful,
country.
very spiritual. So
The children come to church, the Slovak Mass, you'll see...
the
lots of
Slovak Mass
children.
has to be an educational experience as well as a worship
Yeah.
experience, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when Father says celebrates the Slovak Mass on Sundays, it's crowded.
Yes.
Like anything.
Oh, yes. It's very
wow.
crowded. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. And they come from all
They
areas?
come from, a lot come from Jersey, Queens. This area itself, the neighborhood was at one time Slovak,
Yes,
as you know.
yes.
So this was always their church,
And it's a beautiful church.
And it's a beautiful church. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
And so there's really nothing else. There's not another Slovak church, and it's a wonderful community. What they do, and you probably know this, after the Mass, which ends around 11:30, they go downstairs to the parish hall.
Yes.
And somebody makes lunch, a big lunch, and they eat. And I'm telling you, sometimes I get here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're still here, and having a grand old time. And I wish, more communities, even our own community, would do something like that.
Yeah. I was telling Jerry yesterday, he made note, we were in Holy Rose, my parish where we grew up on Sunday, at an anniversary Mass, and everybody who's there is not only there spiritually and part of the parish, but it's their religious, their social,
Yes.
their activity center. They come for everything.
Yes.
And that's the old time way I grew up, because the parish was everything. The parish was, and they're bringing the European flavor here. So the parish was our social, our spiritual, our activities, our travel, everything happened with the priests and the people from the parish. It was great.
I know.
And
I know.
we lived in an ethnic group that was maybe 5 blocks square, and
Yeah.
next to us was the Polish group. They were 5 blocks square, but it was great growing up.
Yeah.
So you still have remnants of that here.
Yes, we do.
That's great.
And and I think it's because they don't all live in a neighborhood. Like
Yes.
I know, let's say with us or with the English speaking community, everybody lives in the neighborhood. Sundays, they go to Mass, and then they have their chores to do, they have their things to do. They have their own friends and family.
Right.
Right. It's been a little hard to get that connection, but it's happening. People
Well, you do
to
have
know
some
each other.
socials here. I know.
Oh, we do.
I mean,
Yeah.
Christmas time there's been a few, and other
Yeah,
occasions.
we do.
So
And
you're
the
building
longer
it.
we're here, the more we're going to get people together.
That's
so
true.
yeah, it's good.
Do you know when the church became un-Slovak or universal?
That I don't know, but
Yes.
it became universal. But up until the point that we came, which is almost 5 years now, it was known as Slovak. And a lot of people, when we first got here, would come in and say, "Oh, you have English masses as well?"
Right.
Like they
right,
weren't
right,
aware of
right,
it.
Right,
But then,
right.
of course, everything was always closed up, and nobody really.
Oh,
you
and
know?
Father Baker's put those glass doors in the front. Oh my Lord! Even celebrating Mass like before, people stop, they look in. Whether, I don't know if they're parishioners or not, and they come in. Like, oh, it's going on. I'll go in.
Yeah.
But you see them stand. It was raining today, but they were standing there with their umbrella, and then some of them decided to come in, and it's such a welcome. And even the second set of doors are always open. So if you're on First Avenue, 66th Street, come on in. Doors are always open.
Doors are always, and that's one of Father Baker's. The doors are always open.
Absolutely,
You know?
and that's his style too.
Exactly, that's his style. Like tomorrow, Ash Wednesday, Ash is all day long.
Yeah.
You know, people like, who does that?
Yeah. That's great. That's good. That's good. It's a
Yeah.
good sign for the
Yeah,
community,
it really
both for
is.
the hospital in the area and
Absolutely,
and the other
absolutely,
parishioners.
yeah.
Okay, let's get back to what we were talking about, which was
Religious
yeah,
education.
religious ed. Now you can tell Lisa and I are both Yenses. We can talk, Cacarones, I
Yeah, we
should say.
can,
We're both
exactly.
Italian. We can talk about anything for any length of time, but we're going to go back to religious ed. Okay.
That's funny. So when I was at St. Malachy's with Father Baker, I was one of the things that I was doing. I was teaching religious education, and then the director left over there, and so then I became director over at St. Malachy's. When we moved here, I really felt badly about leaving those families, and Father Baker was so kind, and he said, "You continue to be director over there for
Yeah,
a year,"
yeah.
and I did, and then handed it over to someone else. And then when I came here, there was no religious education program.
Yeah, right. Because the
Nothing.
Slovak
There was nothing. Just
style is different.
yeah, Slovak style is different. There was nobody. And Father kept saying, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. One day I said to him, you know what? I'm just going to put an announcement in the bulletin. It was like January of whatever year, and we'll see who comes. Well, the first year I had 2 children.
How cute.
Those 2 children are still with me.
No,
and they
that's
come
great.
over. They live on the east side, but they come to St. Francis on
Isn't
Sundays
that
because it's more convenient.
great?
So now
St.
I
Francis Xavier Cabrini.
yes,
We
yes, on Roosevelt Island.
abbreviate.
So now I have classes here Thursday evenings
Okay.
at 6 o'clock, and then I have.
Where do you meet?
We meet in the parish hall.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're all ages. I'm the only teacher. So
Oh,
I'm teaching
wow.
every
Like-
kid from 4 to 12.
Like original schoolhouses. One
Yeah, and we
grade.
sit around this round table,
Oh,
the
cute.
parish
Yeah,
hall.
yeah.
And sometimes, I can show them videos like that. And they're great. It's
That's
it's
wonderful.
great.
And age is what?
So like preschool they start, and I will take them at preschool. And the ones I have right now are up to age 11. I don't have any confirmation kids here yet. Over on the island we have 2 classes at St. Francis Cabrini. We have Natalia, who teaches the younger children,
Great.
the little preschool ones, and then
They're
I have
adorable.
they're adorable.
Before Mass, I always go in the bar with my love too. They're so cute. And they'll say odd things like, "You want to color?" And I say, "Sure, I'll color." They're so cute.
I would love to spend my time coloring.
Yeah. I always say to the grammar school kid, I used to say to Jerry, "Boy, you got it made. You around all those kids, you can play with them all day." "No, I don't play with them. You got to keep them disciplined."
Exactly.
Kindergarten, I would love a kindergarten. Go, "Oh no, you wouldn't." That's okay. Well, I used to go into like Holy Rosemary when I used to go back to my home parish after I was ordained. I was still friends with a lot of the sisters, the Filipini sisters, and I'd knock on the door and they'd wave, and I'd walk in. Chaos. I'd be talking, the jokes, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And then when my sister-in-law was teaching, she taught public school and Catholic school in Hoboken and Weehawken. Do the same. Well, now my nephew's in the class and my niece is in the class. I would come home on
my
vacation,
goodness.
knock on the door, the class would go crazy. But I like that. And then they had to calm them down. Okay, so you
Yeah.
meet with them.
So then
groups?
I have my own group, which I'm kind of thinking the same thing because we have the children's choir, which
Yes.
you've heard the children's
Yes.
choir.
Beautiful.
So the director of the children's choir has them for my first half hour of class. And he's wonderful.
Yes,
But then they
awesome.
get all
Riled up.
revved up. And when I walk in there to start teaching, they're like, "Did you know?" Blah, blah, and they're talking about all different things. And then I told us, you have to be a little bit more strict with them,
That ain't gonna happen.
But that ain't gonna happen. But you know what? I love sometimes, that I do, or go off topic and we just start having a conversation. Does anybody have anything that they want to, share with me?
Good.
And I know that doesn't happen in a lot of religious education classes, but I've always found that conversation is the best way to get through to these kids. I can hand them a book, they can read a prayer, they're not going to remember it the next day.
Right.
But when we talk about real things that are going on,
and apply the faith.
get their
yes.
attention and apply the
Yes.
faith, and this has been a great time because we've been talking about what are you going to do for Lent? Not giving up, but positive things,
Yeah, good.
and some of the stuff they come up with is just so funny.
Oh, that's great.
Or I'm going to give up broccoli. Do you like broccoli? No, I hate it. Okay, then you can't give
Then
that
you're
up.
not
They're the kids.
Good
But I
thoughts.
totally enjoy that.
Yeah, that's great.
That's one of the things I am most proud of, to have
Good.
these kids and to be able to teach them.
Yeah.
And
Now, you're here 5 years. So, what is the oldest child you've taught in these years?
last year I had a 20-year-old young lady, and I had asked about RCIA, and she hadn't received her communion. She had a younger sister, and John said, you know what, just John, who's the Muldara, the RCIA teacher. He said, you can just take her, and I took her, and she was with, and I said, you're not going to be with the younger children,
Right.
and she was fine with it.
Good, good,
And
good,
she
good.
and her sister received their communion and their confirmation, and and they came from Jersey. They would take
Wow.
the New Jersey Transit to come here to go to class.
Isn't that great?
And be like, well, and I think it'll all apart because some churches, because of the age and because of, I don't, as long as you're going to receive your sacraments and you're going to get prepared, doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter when,
Sure.
you don't start on registration day, that's okay. I'll take you afterwards. It's okay,
Sure,
because you
good.
gotta take them when you can.
Yes, doors open.
Yeah, the
Put
door's
'em
open.
in, bring 'em
So
in.
that's just my style, and Father Baker totally supports me in everything I do, which is wonderful.
That's important. That's
which is
important.
really,
Yeah,
really, really important.
Any downsides being parish administrator and manager?
The only downside I could say, and we joke about it all the time. I joke about it with Father Baker. It's a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
It's a 24/7
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
I mean, things can happen here. You can have a pipe break, and it's midnight, and I'm calling the poor plumber, who, God bless him, will come running over because it's Father Baker.
Sure.
Yeah, things, or a Saturday morning. Sundays I'm here anyway. But
Right.
it's really 24/7.
That's
And
great.
again, it's a downside, but not really. It's just part of the job.
Yeah,
It's what I do.
yeah. Great.
Yeah.
This has been Father Louis SCURTI, enjoying my conversation with Lisa Calabrese, Parish Manager here at St. John Nepomucene and St. Francis Xavier Cabrini on Roosevelt Island. And we'll be back for one more interview, and next week you'll tune into it, okay? Let me hear from you, fatherlouisScurti@hotmail.com. And I'll put Lisa's email up there too if you want to contact her. And don't forget, we are on YouTube and Facebook and all those other platforms. Go in, check us out, like us, and do what you're supposed to do to promote the word. You're in charge. God bless you. This is Father Louis SCURTI. God bless you.